Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the next part of the build series. So I got all the cabinets painted and now I'm just going to be installing all the handles and all the hinges and all the hardware to these things. So let's do this. Woo! Alright, so I'm going to get started on this one. I've still got to cut the luan that goes on the front of this, but I'll do that in a little bit. So I got these little felt pads that I'm going to use for underneath the door here. And I'm going to use these because I don't want this thing rattling around when I drive. That would drive me insane. So I'm just going to drop a bunch of these, you know, like one in each corner and maybe one in the middle somewhere. And these should prevent any rattling. I got these down at the Walmart and it was like $3 for what, 150 of them? 105. So I've got plenty to do this whole job. Alright, so the next step is hinges, and the shortest screws I could get are just a little bit too long. They didn't have these in 3/8 for some reason. I'm using 1/4-inch plywood, so this is really thin, so this is going to be a fragile thing. But I'm using 1/2-inch screws, and they're going to go through, and they're going to protrude at the top of this thing a little bit. And later on, they didn't have any ones that I liked at Home Depot, so I'll have to go to Lowe's Peanuts or something and get some nice little pieces of stripping that I'll just glue on the top that'll go over these screws, and not only will it look cool because it'll have a nice little strip of some kind of wood. I want to get like a red colored wood to go around. It will also, if I set something in here, if I'm at an angle or something, it won't slide off, it'll stay in, so that'll be cool. It'll be cool to put like a phone or keys or whatever on here at night. Alright, so I'm just going to remove this lid and set these up where I want them. I think I have one over there. Well, here's the thing. This piece is not perfectly straight with this piece, so if I put one of these here and one of them over here, then it's going to open really weird and it's going to bend the piece of wood when I try to open it. So I'm going to put both of the hinges on this piece, and then when it opens back here, it'll just be unsupported. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up. And this is pretty much where I want them. So I'm going to hold them in place while I drill my pilot hole. I'm going to drill it straight in the middle. Alright, so I've got it set up next to the other side because I want to make sure that these handles are in the same spot. When I'm laying down in bed, I don't want to see one over here and one over here. That'd drive me insane. So what I'll probably do is put this one, because it's bigger, straight in the middle, and just line this one up with it. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I'm just going to mark where I want the screw holes. Alright, so I just installed this handle by just drilling holes and screwing it in. Now I'm just going to mark where this guy goes. And then flip it over. Mark again. Now I'm just going to hold this just like this and line up these two lines with the hinge, and then make my pilot holes and screw this in. Okay, so when I try to close this thing, it doesn't close all the way. So what I did is I kind of pushed it down a little bit and made some marks where the screw holes were down here. And then I drilled those out very shallow but deep enough for these screws, which stick out a little bit, to go all the way down inside this piece of wood. And now what I'm going to do is use this little chisel. I'm going to mark some nice deep marks off to the side, parallel with the edge of the hinge. And what that's going to do is, when I go into this next part, which is hitting this way to peel a nice layer of this wood off, it's gonna, once I get to the end, it's gonna stop it so that it doesn't keep going. So even though I carved these channels out quite a bit, and I still need to clean them up with some sandpaper, by the way, this thing still doesn't sit totally flush when it's closed. And the reason is because when I installed these, I installed the hinges sitting flush with the top, but when I added the screws, then they stuck up. But also I have these on here, so that prevented. So the way I'm going to solve this on the next one is I'm going to double these hinges up like this, so that there's something that's about the same thickness as the screws sitting on top. I'm going to set this on here, then drill my pilot holes and screw it in with this extra hinge on there, which is about the same width as the screws that are going to stick out the bottom. Alright, so I got this piece cut out to fit. I still need to sand it, glue it, and nail it on, and then I'm cutting out the piece that goes right here. Now I found a better way to make super straight cuts with the frickin', god dang, man. I don't know what it is with words when I make videos, but they never seem to work. This thing. And I just line up the blade with the line that I have lined out. And then I clamp this piece of wood down. And I know that actually the distance between the blade here and the side, and this is what's going to be running up against this piece of wood, is exactly 1 1/4 inch. So I'll just measure out this end and make sure it's right, and if I have room for another clamp, I'll put another clamp on there, but if not, I'll just hold it down with my hand behind the saw blade so that my finger doesn't get chopped off or something. And that's basically it for making super straight cuts with this, I don't know, whatever you call it. Alright, so on this one I decided to leave this part open and not have a lid on this one, mainly because the latches for the windows are right here and they would be in the way of it opening. And I thought it would be cool to just have a spot where I could just reach in and grab stuff and not have to worry about a lid anyway. But the lid is on this one, these are on, so this is ready to go in the van. Woo! Alright, so I had my dad help me put this thing in, but it is in now and the side cabinets are in, and I'm pretty certain that they're staying in. I've got a couple little touch-up things to do. Let me show you the thing from the other side. Yeah, check this out. I'm digging these colors too. This goes with the red of the Luan and the dark tan. Ooh, I got some paint on there. Pretty well too. So yeah, this thing is a little, I think once I use this a few times, it'll be much easier to pull out, but it is a little harder to pull out with the wood on there. Some people suggested some wax and maybe some soap to me. I might try that, but I might try just using it a bunch of times and see if it wears itself out. Yeah, this is good. Actually getting somewhere. There's actually something in the van, like where it needs to be. So the next real part is to finish the box that goes here and the box that goes here.